I'm just going to kind of answer some of the most commonly asked questions on the Helene video and just kind of go from there. Hello, y'all. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, thanks for everybody for being here. We have grown quite a lot since our last video, which was the hurricane video. I hate for that to be the way that my channel grew, but just gonna try to make the best of it. Copper's trying to join in. Hold on. Well, I was trying to get him simmer down, but he has, come here, stand up here so they know what you look like. Come here, come here, come here. He's like, you're tricking me, Mom. Oh, this is Copper. He's a golden doodle, but he doesn't look like it. But he's the sweetest boy, and he thinks that if you're out here and he's out here, you have to be touching him and loving on him. So I guess he'll just join us. But anyways, back to it. Thank you so much for being here. I can't believe how many people have seen the video and have subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much. And I just kind of wanted to do this video. I've been wanting to make this video for weeks, but I'm telling y'all what, the days go by so fast, and there's just so many things to do and everything, and I've just not gotten to do it. So anyways, I'm just gonna kind of answer some of the most commonly asked questions on the Helene video and just kind of go from there. So one of the most common questions was if we had insurance on the barn. Answer is yes, we did. However, throughout this whole process, we have learned a lot about insurance, and while for ourselves, we are thankful for it, because they come out, looked at the barn, and it is a total loss. And so we were able to get insurance money. But in somehow insurance policies switching and everything, the amount of coverage that would be needed to replace the barn, that was not there. So in order, we're going to have to borrow money and put with the insurance money to be able to build our barn back. I won't get into numbers because it doesn't really matter. But, so yes, we did get insurance money, but it's not enough to cover replacement for the barn. So, and then, so that's my second thing. So since I knew we were going to have to borrow money, I then started, doing research to see, if farm credit, I'm wearing their shirt, but, or the USDA or whatever was going to be offering any low interest loans. So that was a whole fiasco. I will try not to get too into it because I really get on a soapbox, because it has been so extremely frustrating, to say the least, regarding that. So I had talked to the USDA office 3 different times. I talked to our local one that sent me, this was a couple days after the storm, and they sent me to another semi-local office up the road. They say they deal with all the loans. So I had talked to them, and at that point there wasn't anything that was for disaster relief or anything. And at that time, we've never gotten any loans or anything through USDA, so I wasn't really aware of all of their rules and that sort of thing. But in case you need to know, the USDA will not offer you a loan unless you've been denied from a farm credit or a bank or whatever for a loan. So I didn't really know that was their all the time rule. But, anyway, so I talked to that lady that was no, because I'm we're in good standing with farm credit and everything. So, they're not going to deny us. So she's like, we can't do it. So I'm like, okay. So then I had talked to our farm credit lady, and we were kind of going back and forth on some options. And then during that time, so to make it look all good for, pictures and everything, I had my farming friends, sending me the thing where it said, the USDA was offering a low interest loan for people affected by the hurricane. I'm like, okay, so we'll try this again. So then I told my farm credit lady, I was like, I'm going to call them back. So I called USDA back and was told the same thing. Unless you've been denied by a banking institution for a loan, then we can't help you. And I'm like, I was extremely frustrated. And I told the lady, I said, I'm not taking this out on you. I said, but this is very irritating that if I'm in good standing with my bank, I pay my bills on time and everything else, that I can't get a low interest loan from you. I said, of course I can get a loan from another bank, but it's going to be like 6, 7, 8% interest, And she's like, I know, it's frustrating. We don't understand it, yada, yada, yada. And, I get that that's their rule all the time is, they're not in competition with banks and whatever. And that's fine. I understand that. But like, this was a natural disaster. You would think, you could be a little lenient on some of these rules, but anyway, so the USDA, even though they paint a pretty picture, I hope they've been able to help some folks, but we weren't applicable for that. So anyways, to make a long story short on that, we didn't get any assistance, not gotten any FEMA. I never even seen any FEMA. A few of our neighbors, I think FEMA had stopped, but FEMA had never come up here, which is fine. We are much more fortunate than others. And that was another thing that was extremely frustrating on the Helene video, is people were trying to make it a competition of who got the worst damage. And this is not a competition of that. Nowhere near. In the video, I said multiple times, like, I'm so thankful and we are so blessed to have what we have, and it wasn't any worse than it was. And so I hated when people were like, well, this place had it worse, or this place had it worse. We all had it bad, okay? And it's not a competition of who had it worse. It was just bad all the way around. So please don't comment that on videos, okay? But anyways, to move on from that, but didn't see FEMA, nothing like that. The community and our, like, not even just right here community, our, semi-local community were amazing, were wonderful. Our, like, community centers and stuff were jam-packed full of things. It was just amazing to see all of that. So if you send any donations or anything like that, our communities greatly appreciate that so much. But most of the help come from local communities and everything. And then for the barn, we just ended up going through farm credit. Wasn't the decision we wanted to make, but it was what we had to make because we have to have a barn before winter. So that's what we had to do to make that happen. I was hoping in this video to have a little update on the barn. I guess I have a little bit. I can put a clip in. But we have found a builder for the barn. It's a Mennonite family, and we are so excited. They come highly recommended to us. They were very eager to go ahead and jump on it, and that's what we need because we need a barn before winter. Dakota's very particular. If you're just new here, you haven't watched any of our videos before, Dakota's very particular, and all equipment must be up. It cannot be left outside. It has to be up. So that's why we desperately need a barn. And of course we don't have any hay to put back in the barn right now. We'll have to wait for that for next season, because all of our hay did get wet, but we are able to feed it since it was just wet from rainwater and not like flood water or anything. So we're thankful for that we can feed our hay. We only lost a few rolls at the Orange Tractor Farm, so we're very fortunate for that. It's not the quality, that we would like to have with, what we worked so hard on all summer, but we still have it, so that's what counts. So back to the barn progress. So, it was supposed to start last week, the building, but the builder had a few things he needed to finish up, so I think it's going to start next week. So I'm going to video some of that as much as I can. What I'll probably do is, because they are Mennonite, and I think it's weird, like, I even think it's weird, like, videoing myself. So I definitely don't want to invade anybody's privacy or be disrespectful to anybody. So I'm not going to video them building, but what I will do is, like, you know, after a day that they've worked or whatever, I'll video like the progress that's been made. So still get to video the progress and everything. They just won't be in it because I want to be very respectful of them. We're very appreciative for them. So yeah, but one thing I was going to say, I don't think I said it before, is I'll add on this video, we do have the building materials. Like, as I'm sitting here on the front porch, I'm looking down there and seeing, like, the barn. It's just not together, but it's all the wood and everything that they're going to use for the barn. So it's all down there. It's just not assembled yet. So, Dakota at this point is now excited for the new barn. We're trying to make lemonade out of lemons. We would love to be able to look down there and still see the barn. Hold on. Sorry, it's still a little emotional, but we would love to be able to look down there and see the barn standing, and for nobody to have went through any of this, but we are excited to build a new barn. Sorry about that. So we are excited to build a new barn because we get to build it exactly the way we want it. And it's what's going to be most efficient for us and at this part of our farming lives, you know, and hopefully for the future. So that is exciting. You know, we get to make it the color we want, which we're matching our other buildings, our garage and such. So it'll kind of all match. But, so we're trying to look at it from that side, trying to be positive, like, at least we get to build what we want, right? Because the barn that was there has been there since the 70s. Well, it had been there since the 70s, and it was a tobacco barn. So it was beautiful. I loved it. But it was a little bit taller than what we really need. So, because, you know, for hanging tobacco and all of that. So this barn won't quite be as tall. But we'll be using, like, every square inch of it. So, and every square inch will be used. There was a lot of space, like overhead space in that barn that was just not able to be used by what we were using it for. So that is one positive thing about this. We're building it to suit our needs right now and for the future. And another question I had forgotten, we got on the video, was if anything was, like, able to be saved. And on the main barn, the big barn, nothing was able to be saved. I did save one piece of barn to hopefully make a few things out of, just as, like, keepsakes, but literally nothing else was able to be saved. Dakota took the metal from the roof to the scrapyard. And then we burnt all the lumber that you saw in the last video. So from that barn, the newer barn that we had built just a couple years ago, the metal barn, Dakota was originally going to, like, after this happened, he had thought that he may dismantle it, take it all down after the new barn was built, and may rebuild it because there's still a lot of useful parts of it. But at this time we decided to go a little bit bigger on the rebuild. so we shouldn't need the other barn that we had built. So at this time, I think we'll just, after the new one's built, we'll just dismantle and try to sell the metal and everything from that. So that's what we're doing at this point with that. Yeah, right now it's still up because it is a little bit usable, and like the back part of it is usable. So we have all the stuff that we needed to put in the dry in there. We have equipment, tractors and stuff elsewhere, but like our side-by-side stays in there sometimes, and like our food for the dogs and stuff like that. So it is also very hard to look at because we've been living with it like that for over a month now, and it's just like constantly a reminder. So we'll both be excited for that to be gone. I think too that we eventually, after things get settled down a little bit, after the barn hopefully is up, I think Dakota is gonna try to sell some of the wood that has fallen, or give it to people that need it, so that we can kind of get some of that cleaned up, because we have so many trees that are down, like so many trees that are down. So just trying to get stuff cleaned up so that we can get the beautiful view, which is still absolutely beautiful, but the little reminders kind of get those cleaned up so we don't have to look at them all the time. But yeah, so that's about it. I really appreciate you watching the video, being here, commenting on the video, last video, supporting us. Thankful so much for your prayers. It's been a tough time, but we've learned a lot, adapted a lot, you know, kind of decided where we want to go in the future and all of that sort of thing. So just thank you. I don't usually talk about it much on here just because I just do it on the side. But if you ever want to like buy something from me that I make or that's like local, I do have a website. I'll put it here. It's just sfcattlecomarket.com, and I've had that going for quite a little while. And I make candles, coconut wax candles, all here, all my own fragrances and combinations. I kind of go a little crazy sometimes on scents. I really like making a memory into a scent. But I do candles, I do body butter. I just started doing like spray hand sanitizers. My mom crochets, so she has toboggans, head wraps on there, really beautiful ponchos, just all kinds of good stuff. So if you would like to support us or just need some cool local Appalachian made Christmas gifts, be sure to check that out. So, but I just appreciate y'all and thank you all so much.